Good morning. Welcome to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. And Sheriff, we're talking about, I know this is a passion topic for you as it relates to what we're doing to make sure that individuals who come into our detention facility, when they leave, they have the skills they need to not return.
Yeah, Shonda, you know that for quite some time we've referred to our detention facility historically as a jail. And one of the things I wanted to send a message to our entire community is that it's more than a jail. In fact, when it was built as a detention facility, which means that those persons are only there for a short period of time. Right. And the expectation is during that short period of time that things are taking place in their lives that make them less likely to come back into our detention facility. So we've really put a lot of effort into trying to address the issues of recidivism, the number of persons who are arrested over and over and over again and come back into our system. And I think we'll make some headway. If we can stop the number of persons who continuously involved in the criminal justice system and lower that number, we're also able to raise the quality of life for all of our citizens. And that's at the end of the day what it's all about. How can we make Tallahassee, Leon County a better place for all of us to live, work, and play? And dealing with this recidivism rate is one of those huge things on my agenda.
Yeah, and the numbers are showing what you're doing, Sheriff, is really working, and we're really expanding those programs as it relates to reentry. One of the things, we talk about the all-in initiative and really getting every sector of our community involved, and we're also engaging the faith-based community.
Absolutely, can't do this without all the community, but specifically the faith-based community. The fact is that many of these people need an opportunity to sit down with someone who will just listen, who will listen to their situation, their background, and then be able to give them some advice. And the organization that's most readily focused on trying to achieve those kind of outcomes, certainly we have social service organizations, but we have so many institutions of worship in our community, so many worship places, and certainly we can enlist those persons and those agencies in our efforts to drive down our crime rate and drive down recidivism.
Yeah, and if we want you to stick around if you are involved in any faith-based organizations, because we have an event coming up that we want them to come out and take part in. Today we have our Director of Reentry on the program today, and he's going to be talking about some of the expansions that we've been doing, and we're making really great progress. We are, and Brad's going to talk more about that when he comes on, but certainly the things he's done already, the relationship we've built with social service organizations and faith-based organizations is second to none, quite honestly, in our community. And he understands, as I do, that we've got to make this work. We talk about being all in, and the only way we can make this work is that we work with our citizens and those faith-based communities to make this change. And I'm happy to say we're on a path, I think, that'll get us there. Absolutely. Well, you want to stick around. We have a full show today. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about some of those skills that we are equipping individuals leaving our detention facility with to make sure they don't return. We'll be right back.
Good morning, I'm Deputy Davis Clark with Leon County Sheriff's Office School Resource Unit, here with your Safety Tip Tuesday.
It can be incredibly crowded during spring break, which means it's a good idea to take extra precautions when it comes to traveling safely. Here are some tips to keep you safe during spring break. It's always a good idea to do research before you travel on vacation. Before you leave, know where you will be staying, whether you can park there, and how you will be getting around during your trip. Once you've made your plans for spending spring break in Florida, it's a good idea to share those plans with a trusted family member or friend. Sharing too much online can be a safety risk. However, if you have a public social media account, it's not a good idea to be posting where you are staying, tagging your location, or sharing any other details about your current whereabouts. If you are of legal drinking age, always drink responsibly, know your limits, and never get behind the wheel when you have been drinking. It might feel silly to use the buddy system as a teenager or adult, but it's an important safety tip for a reason. No matter where you go or what you are doing, it's always safer to stick with a friend.
And that's your safety tip. Have a great day.
Start your new career as a corrections officer at one of the state's most innovative agencies, the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
When I left the academy, my training never stopped.
Work with state-of-the-art technology.
You can make a lot of money at a very young age.
Starting pay is $50,000 a year with amazing benefits.
Firearms, taser, driving training.
A better work-life balance with more time off.
They're going to sponsor you through the academy and pay you while you're there.
Join the family. Apply today at leoncountyso.com.
At the Florida Sheriff's Association, we are able to serve our sheriffs and Floridians thanks to our member support. The FSA Member Perks program was created to give back to our members for all that they do. Members enjoy savings on restaurants, vacations, golf courses, car rentals, healthcare, movie tickets, theme parks, online shopping, and more. With over 300,000 offers, you'll always find ways to save. To learn more or to join the Florida Sheriff's Association, visit fsamemberperks.org.
Welcome back. The Leon County Detention Facility is using innovative programs to help reduce the recidivism rate. Joining us now is the Director of Reentry, Brad Janowski. Brad, tell us about your career in law enforcement and your career with the Leon County Sheriff's Office thus far.
Certainly. I actually started my career as an undercover investigator, right out of college. Did that for a couple of years, which was fascinating. And then ended up working for a sheriff's office for a short period of time, and then moved on to probation and parole. I did that for a while. And then I moved into the nonprofit world, and that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years up until last year, and when you invited me to come and take this role at the sheriff's office. So,
one of the best decisions I ever made, getting you on
thank
board.
You.
Tell us about your role at the detention facility right now.
Certainly. I'm the Director of Reentry and Inmate Programs, so that they go hand in glove, but they're actually two very distinct pieces of the puzzle here. So reentry is all about the transitional phase of people leaving the facility and being prepared to become the citizens we hope they can be and we want them to be, and that I hope they want to be. And the programming piece, that's kind of the nuts and bolts of how we accomplish that first piece.
Yeah, some people looking maybe thinking that the detention facility does the same old things they always did, the jail as they call it. Tell us about what's new in our detention facility.
Certainly. We've been really been fortunate, and I've been fortunate as this part of my career to be able to step into a situation a year ago where we really had nothing active or no real substance active simply because of the COVID shutdown and everything that was impacted by that. And so we kind of had a blank slate to get started. And so over the last year, we've spent a lot of time just getting the foundation built of putting together some base programming that we believe is impactful and is important for folks to participate in so they can learn some of those skills to transition well and make the changes in their life that they're looking for. At the end of last year, we were able to be very comfortable with the slate of programming that we had in place. And now we've transitioned to moving them into categories. So we now have all of our programming broken up into 3 categories. It's spiritual, educational, and transformational. Okay. So spiritual programming, which I tell my team, it's all about impacting the soul. And we bring in some religious programming from all different religious groups and organizations, not just Christian groups, but Muslim and Jewish as well, and others that have been requested. The educational piece, that's things like our GED classes for both our juvenile residents and our adults. We also include things like our art class, our creative writing, and some of those, and that's to impact the mind. And then the third one is transformational, which is to transition. We want to impact their heart. And that's things like anger management, parenting, substance abuse, cognitive behavioral therapy, a number of those things that fall under those categories. So now we're transitioning our whole team to focus on those key areas. And so when we're looking at the individuals that we're assessing and trying to determine what their best needs are, we can pick from each of those categories to try to impact those needs that are most prevalent in that person's life. Wow,
a lot of things that you guys have got going on. But tell me, what kind of impacts are the programs actually having?
Sure. One of the quickest one I can share with you is less than 2% of our program participants have had a disciplinary report since we started in class. That's super. They're so excited, and honestly, they're so excited to be involved in programming that they understand that it really is quite a privilege to be able to participate. Every class we have has a waiting list that's at least 2 to 3 times our capacity long. And so folks know that they need to toe the line and do what they need to do outside of class in order to stay.
Yeah, real quickly, we got about a minute to go. Talk about the RISE Center and how important it is to our delivery of services to our community.
Absolutely. So that's the kind of, I don't want to say the final point, but it's kind of the last point that's driven and directed by us at the Sheriff's Office. And that's kind of our reentry program, our community hub, if you will, where we want folks to transition from the facility out to the RISE Center, where we can then introduce them to additional community resources and additional programming and additional community partners that we work with that can help them continue with that transition.
Brad, as I said at the outset, thank you for the great work you do. Still ahead, in our inmate program that was all a buzz last year, an update on Earth Haven after the break.
Domestic violence knows no faith.
1 in 4 women experiences abuse in their relationship.
So most likely there are victims of abuse in your congregation.
Don't think it doesn't happen in your church.
Or synagogue.
Or mosque.
Because it does.
It does.
It does.
Learn the signs of abuse.
And how to help victims.
Know the many resources available in our community.
End the silence on domestic violence.
Contact the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council or the Refuge House Hotline.
We're back with the LCSO Director of Reentry, Brad Janowski. Last year, we launched our Earth Haven project. For those who may not know, Brad, tell us what the project's all about.
Certainly. Earth Haven stands for Ecology and Reentry Training Hub, and so we had an opportunity to use about 5 or 6 acres of property in Leon County that the county had possession of to come up with some unique programming that inmates who have qualified to can go outside of the facility every day and work outside in this project. And it started with a little project of raising some mosquito fish, and it had grown tremendously. So we have a little pond out there that we started with about 60,000 fish, and our estimates are that we're up to about 6 million fish in there right now. So in the next few weeks, the county is going to routinely come out and scoop out a bunch of fish and take them to other bodies of water in the county in an effort to organically and naturally keep the mosquito population down. But we didn't stop there. We had all this ground and we said, well, what else can we do out here? And so one of our officers happened to be a master beekeeper, and he said, well, why don't we create a bee farm? And so, my goodness, we have a bee farm, and we have bees everywhere, which is fantastic. And I have to say, I've learned more about bees and beekeeping in the last 6 months than I ever thought I would in my entire life. But it's been wonderful. It's been a tremendous activity, and they've been prolific. And in addition to the bees and the fish, we also put an orange grove out there as well. So we've got a bunch of orange trees that are growing, and hopefully a year from now we'll start harvesting a whole bunch of oranges to go along with the honey.
As I understand it, as you just said, the bees have been they've been busy, right?
Sure.
So what happens with that honey? What's when they produce all that? What do we do with it?
Sure. So again, learning more about bees and how they work. So the first 6 months or so has really just been building up the hives and just getting the infrastructure in place, and we've been feeding them sugar water. Pretty much on a daily basis. They've been supplementing it with pollen and everything that they need, but we needed to jumpstart their hive production, and so we're now at a point where we're about ready to what we call spin off our first batch of edible honey. Okay. Which we're hoping in the next month or so will be the case, and we'll our beekeepers are estimating probably 100 to 120 pounds of honey, which is a lot of honey.
We plan to sell that honey?
We are. Well, we're going to eat some first, and then we'll sell it. Yes, sir.
So what's the next step for Earth Haven?
Certainly. We are looking at some additional programming out there. We're going to expand our horticulture program out there, and we also have an opportunity to create, we're calling it a heavy equipment operator program. So there's, right next door, the county has an additional 30 acres of ground that is going to be ideal for us to bring some big equipment out and teach people how to operate some heavy equipment and become actually licensed to do so. And it's a very in-demand job right now. We've been talking to a number of employers in the area who are eager to start talking to some of our graduates from that program.
Well, I love the fact we're doing that, but that's one aspect of what we do with reentry. Talk about the role of the faith-based community in our reentry efforts.
Certainly. Faith-based communities are absolutely essential. You know, I tell our folks inside the facility, our inmate population and our staff, I said, well, we think about who's involved in communities of faith. You have employers, you have landlords, you have mentors, you have folks from all walks of life. And so that's kind of the ideal community to get involved with. And then throw on the faith component on that as well. When it comes to true transformation, that's the group that we really need to connect with.
Yeah, well, Brad, as I said, I love the work you're doing, you and your staff. But talk to us, how can our viewers become more involved in this reentry efforts?
We have several opportunities for folks to get involved. First of all, in the community. So if you're a member of a faith community, a church, a synagogue, or other type of community, please, we'd love to connect with you. We'd love to find out if there's some ways that you can help our folks in the community, and maybe there's even a way that some of your team can come into our facility and have an impact before people even leave. But even some practical things like donating clothing items and personal hygiene items and things like that to our RISE Center. We just had that. Somebody donated. They brought 8 carloads of stuff. And we are inundated right now, but that stuff is going out the door just as fast as it came in. So we're always in need of things like that. So there's all kinds of ways that we can work together.
Well, Brad, again, thank you and your team for the great work. Up next in our Deputy on Duty, a 20-year LCSO veteran talks about training the next generation of deputies. Stay tuned.
On this episode of Deputy on Duty, we introduce you to Jason Glover, a lieutenant in the training unit who embarked on his journey at the Leon County Sheriff's Office nearly 2 decades ago as an intern.
I was 19 years old, and I got to know people at the agency, and I just enjoyed being around it. I was a dispatcher at first. While I was at dispatch, I decided I went to the academy, and I've been here ever since.
Lieutenant Glover has an impressive resume. He's worked in various roles, starting in uniform patrol, the traffic unit where he specialized in traffic homicides, eventually being promoted to sergeant while working in investigations. Lieutenant Glover is also a team leader for LCSO's Honor Guard and is a member of the hostage negotiations team and motor unit. Now his daily routine is filled with administrative duties and overseeing training for both sworn and civilian employees, and that includes some first aid and driver training.
We're required to do some trainings every year to include what we call high liability, firearms, driving, first aid, defensive tactics. We also do some specialty classes, enhanced ongoing training, if you will. We just finished some scenario-based training. But we try to offer some new innovative training just to keep our skills up more than just the average typical requirements that we must fill.
As a leader in the training unit, Lieutenant Glover stresses the significance of staying up to date with new policies and techniques. He also explains that it's crucial to evolve and adapt with society.
So we always want to stay current, try to find innovative ways to make the public safer, make our people safer, and just staying aware of different technologies, different tools that we can use in the interest of better doing the job, longevity of the job, and just safety of everyone.
One method of technology used to enhance LCSO deputies' preparedness for safer interactions in the community involves the use of the Milo simulator. This system immerses users in various simulations as deputies responding to different calls, requiring quick decision-making for optimal safety outcomes.
Stay open-minded. Find something that truly interests you, that you're passionate about, and go for it. But be open-minded, be willing to learn, and just never stop learning.
Constant training is just one benefit of working at LCSO with a diverse range of job opportunities. For Lieutenant Glover, being all in means making sure everyone is being prepared.
It just means, buying into and being a part of the team, and embracing not just your fellow member, but the community, everybody, and considering everybody as one big team.
And if you're considering a career with LCSO, just know Lieutenant Glover says it's like working alongside family, and it doesn't hurt to have a positive attitude.
Just know that you're coming to an innovative. We constantly are striving to be world class here. So come with that mindset. But like I said before, just be open minded, but be creative, be innovative, and bring what you have to the table as well.
Lieutenant Glover credits the entire training unit with accomplishing so much success over the past year, training more than 2,800 participants in critical areas like taser and firearms usage and educating the public through LCSO's Citizens Academy. They are continuously setting high standards and ensuring the safety of our deputies, correctional officers, civilian staff, and the community.
I think what we've accomplished, like I said, for me and a couple of us, we've only been here about a year. But looking over what we did in the last year, no credit to myself, they do an outstanding job. But we have put out a lot of training, a lot of hours, and we're starting to see increased interest and getting good feedback about training. So I'm pretty proud of that for our team.
If you'd like more information on how to get your career started at the Leon County Sheriff's Office, just visit our website, leoncountyso.com. For Leon County Today, I'm Angela Sherrod.
Start your new career as a corrections officer at one of the state's most innovative agencies, the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
When I left the academy, my training never stopped.
Work with state-of-the-art technology.
You can make a lot of money at a very young age.
Starting pay is $50,000 a year with amazing benefits.
Firearms, taser, driving training.
A better work-life balance with more time off.
They're going to sponsor you through the academy and pay you while you're there.
Join the family. Apply today at leoncountyso.com.
In today's society, kindness can sometimes feel hard to find.
Like a purple unicorn.
Road rage can accelerate quickly.
And gun violence
has taken our loved ones.
But we can all work to tip the scales of kindness.
Spread kindness. Difunde amabilidad.
Spread kindness.
So let's go all in
and spread kindness.
Download the Leon County Sheriff's Office mobile app right now. Our mobile app makes it easier than ever to report a crime and get important safety alerts. You can also see who's been booked at the Leon County Detention Facility and follow reported crimes in your neighborhood, all in one convenient location in the palm of your hands. Download LCSO Connect right now. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play by searching LCSO Connect.
Welcome back to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, our training unit really doing some innovative things to make sure that when our newest deputies hit the streets out there, they are prepared for whatever they face.
Yeah, it's difficult for a new person coming into law enforcement to understand all the elements that they're going to possibly face. And that's one of the most important things we can do, is to do that orientation to make sure from the day they start until they start to progress in their career, they understand the basics of how to do law enforcement. And it becomes critical. It's absolutely critical that you start out doing it the right way to build those habits that then are with you for your entire career. And our training unit does a tremendous job of making sure that those steps are taken. We don't skip any steps in that process because every step is important. And to get that across to young persons coming into law enforcement is sometimes difficult because they believe, you know, hey, you can do it this way quickly, but no, our training unit will stay right on the issues and make sure we get that training done appropriately.
Absolutely, and hearing about all of our reentry efforts, it really is amazing, all the things happening. And we want to also mention that we have a specific event coming up for our faith-based community coming up this Thursday that you can take part in. Those details are on your screen. So lots of ways to engage our community while we're making a difference in lives.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I hope you're talking about is our kindness efforts of trying to make sure that as we engage with our community, we say to all of our employees, one of the simplest things we can do in life is to be kind to one another. And too often we see road rage all across our community. So hopefully what we're doing in our community through the Leon County Sheriff's Office is making that kind of impact and kind of difference.
Yeah, it all matters.
It does.
It does indeed. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for another episode of Leon County Today. We'll see you back here next week.